We're back. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Thursday, getting you set for the Eagles and the Giants on Saturday evening, Lickett Financial Field. All right, joining us right now has an awesome podcast, which you should check out. Really, really well done. Pro Fan Talk. You can follow him on Twitter at Coach_Markus, Markus with a K, 06 on Twitter. And we love talking to him, getting his insights. And he's a frequenter of the chat room as well. Coach Markus, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
What's up? Good afternoon, fellas. The time is near. I am ready to rock and roll, man.
I'm with you. Can we just fast forward today? Can we just get a little bit closer to this thing?
No. Don't fast forward. Lane Johnson needs all the rest he can get.
And Jalen gives Jalen a little bit more time. It's a good point.
Absolutely.
So let's start there then. You love having the bye. It's great. It lets guys heal. You don't have to beat yourself up the week before and all that. From a fan perspective, and I got to ask you as your insight as a player too. I know by Thursday, Friday, I'm can we just get to this thing? Is it hard as a player too when you've had coming off a bye or a little extended time off to stay in that zone that you need to be in?
If it's longer than your normal bye week, yes. If you're coming off of an injury or something like that, I know Barrett's told stories where you're on the free agent wire waiting for somebody to pick you up. That's a different set of circumstances.
Right.
But if you've got a bye week, you're looking forward to that bye week. You're looking forward to that rest. When I was playing, it was a little bit different because we actually practiced. Now, nowadays they don't do that so much. So, but as far as the mental aspect of it, if you are in a bye week, your regular schedule really didn't change much. You might get an extra day off, but that was about it. So as long as you're in the city, in the facility, around the same people, that schedule kind of remains the same. For a lot of guys, that just gives them extra time to watch film. So it's not too bad. For a normal bye week, everything should be good.
Okay.
Markus, we always talk about how momentum is so big in this game, especially when it gets to the playoff level. But when you look at the possibility of momentum shifts in this game, I think even if at some point the Eagles lose momentum because of the superior talent that they have overall, they can overcome that a lot easier than this Giants team that has been riding this momentum wave to get to this point.
Absolutely. Very similar to what happened when we played Jacksonville and Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We made some mistakes early, but we got it together, came back, and did what we have to do. So what we can't do is like the situation a couple weeks ago where we dropped 6 picks or something like that. When you're in the playoffs, you must, I repeat, you must take advantage of every opportunity you get. If you can't capitalize on it, it's going to cost you. So we've got to minimize those missed opportunities. When we get a chance to get that ball in our hands as a secondary, we got to take it. If we can't miss on the long passes on the outside to AJ and Devontae and even Dallas, we got to be able to hit those guys in stride and get those big plays when they're given to us.
Derek, you want to follow up? I got to hop off for 1 second. Excuse me real quick, guys.
Yeah, it's too much being made of the fact that, and I've brought this up several times, when you look at the Eagles down the stretch, they finished 2-2, but we have become so spoiled because they were winning the turnover battle consistently. The last 4 games, they have not won the turnover battle. And what made me think about that is that they can't drop these picks. You've got to pounce on the loose balls. You can't let the ball squirt free and go back to the opposition. Is it too much to be made of the fact they have not won the turnover battle the last 4 games?
No, it's not too much to make of that. Because again, the games were arguably not as important, but the results were the same. If you don't get those, if we don't give up a 3rd and 30 in Dallas, we probably win that game. If the situation in Jalen made a couple of bad decisions in Chicago.
Right.
We come back. But again, let's go back to Dallas. We get 2 sacks in a row. This is right before the 3rd and 30. And we get a fumble, but we don't recover. We miss the sack. We don't get them down on the sack, and they get a crucial first down. Those are the opportunities that you have to take advantage of. Slay can't let the ball hit him in the helmet. Different things like that, man. This is where you need your playmakers to make plays. It's that simple. You don't have to do anything complicated. The guys that you pay all of this money for, it's time for them to step up because all eyes are on you.
Marcus, what do you make of Slay's play really over the last, I don't know, 6-7 weeks, somewhere in that neighborhood, where he felt like so dominant, where either they weren't throwing to him, he was getting picks, he was breaking up balls, whatever. Teams aren't afraid to go after him now. Like, what do you make of that?
They just found a weakness. They've been watching film like everybody else, and they found something that was working for them and not working for the Eagles. And let's be clear. I at the beginning of the year, I was like, Bradbury is the linchpin in that secondary. It's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. When he gets back in that secondary, that whole tone changes. Right. So he missed that help. The Josiah Scott experience has not been great. It's gotten better, but it hasn't been great. So there's not a lot of backup. And there's been a lot of, I guess, sloppy play, if you want to call it. But he's owned up to it. But now the good thing about the playoffs, you can wipe all of that off the table. It's like, okay, talk is over. You got to put it to use right now. Now it's time for your experience and everything else that comes with that as a veteran player, especially somebody who's been in the league for 10 years.
Right. Marcus, we've been in such a gray area the last couple of weeks with Jalen Hurts. You know, how close to 100% is he? Is he still hurting? Are the Eagles covering this thing up? When he steps out on the field and takes the first series, and no matter what he does, what is it that you're going to look for from Jalen that will make you say, all right, that's the Jalen Hurts we've watched much of this season, or wait a minute, something doesn't seem right with this dude?
The first RPO. I'm not concerned about his throwing. He can still throw. But that first RPO, I don't want him to look like he did that last week with the Giants. He looked tentative, and he looked like he was, not being as aggressive as he normally is. And it was very easy to see. Everybody said the same thing. And if you are the Giants defense, you would be stupid not to go after him. If they come up to a set that you recognize as a defense and you think they're running RPO, I'm telling everybody, attack the running back, make him pull it, make him run it. We're going to test that shoulder. They can call it a bounty. I'll call it good gamesmanship. You're going to test it. Is he going to favor it? Is he going to try to run out of bounds? You got to see what he's going to do with it. We need Jalen to be, to your point, 100%, and we need him to play like the MVP he's been all season. If not, that's a problem, which means he's going to have to drop back, which means the protection is going to have to be on point. It just disrupts too many things because too many things work off of him running the RPO, then using it as play action, then using it as run pass, more emphasis on the pass. Everything blooms off of that. So we got to keep it going. And if that is not there, the defense is going to capitalize off of that.
How do you think that they will stay committed to the run throughout the game, even if it's not clicking early?
To me, that's the big X factor. I do not know. Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen have not shown me the last half of this year that they are willing to run the ball with the Pro Bowl running back we got in the backfield. I still say that game in Chicago was a travesty. I was upset because Sirianni's from Ohio, not far from where I'm from. He knows what cold weather is. Why would you run the ball 17 times in Chicago? Or at least give the ball to Miles Sanders and let him go. If Miles Sanders, if we ran him like a number one back, it is my opinion that he would have led the league in rushing this year. He would have beat Derrick Henry if we ran him like that. But for whatever reason, we get pass drunk and don't want to hand the ball.
I like that.
Man, that shout out to Dan Orlovsky. I heard him say that, and I was like, that is the perfect term.
Yeah, it's a good
term.
But
we all know we have arguably one of the best offensive lines in football, period. Use them. Until the Giants can show us that they can stop our running game, run the ball, make it balanced. Obviously, you're going to make it balanced, but make the run be your force. Make that be the jab. You can pop them in the mouth and put them on their heels a little bit. And everybody knows we got it, but for whatever reason, we don't use it. That is the scariest thing about our team. We match up with anybody we will come across in the playoffs. The one thing I'm concerned about is getting out-coached.
Yeah.
We've watched this team run with authority for so much this season. But when you look at the numbers across the board, the last 4 games in particular. Well, I'll throw out that last Giants game because that was basically a practice game, They ran the ball 33 times in Chicago, struggled to get a $112. They ran the ball 29 times in Dallas, 87 yards. Only ran the ball 15 times against a Saints defense that was giving up over 130 yards a game. Okay. And it wasn't like the Saints were putting distance between them and the Eagles to force the Eagles to pass more. It was just driving us nuts. Why are you throwing the ball against this, especially with Marshawn Lattimore back there? And lo and behold, Minshew throws a pick 6.
Burned him.
When you look at the tape, because I always say, whether you're current player, former player, you guys see certain things that us in the media, like me and Rob, don't see. We miss. When you look at their running game the last several games, what do you see? Do you see something that's been missing in terms of how they try to assert, or lack thereof, their dominance along that offensive line?
I think they just need to do it earlier to establish, because what you should do is you test the waters. You go everywhere you need to go so you can find a weakness. Mm-hmm. Once you find that weakness, you exploit it. If it's on the right side, if it's in the middle, whatever you're looking for that chink in the armor, and then you go after it. Then you got to look at, are we still going to try to run everything out of gun? We give up, as a running back, we give up way too much when you run Miles Sanders out of gun. Put him in the back, get under center, and let's run a true play action. You can do both. So what I think they need to do is they need to expand the formations they're lining up in to run. You got to be under the center, you got to be in pistol, and you can do gun. You should be able to run play action and throw the ball out of all of those sets. And for some reason, all they do, they stick to the gun formation. Every now and then they'll sprinkle in the pistol, and every now and then they'll put Sanders 6 yards deep and put Jalen under center. That's, in my opinion, that's what they need to do a little bit more, because you force the linebackers to pay attention to where that ball is going, and all you need to do is get them to take 1 or 2 steps up. That creates about 5 yards of space in the middle. Now you got some lanes open. So I heard you mention this before, D-Gun, it's the chess match that we have to win, and it's like we're not winning that right now.
How much do you worry about being out-coached? I mean, Dable's done a hell of a job. Martindale's legit as a D coordinator. How much do you worry about that factor just generally, Marcus?
A lot, because they haven't shown me that they haven't shown me that they can find the weakness and exploit it. They haven't shown me where they could say, okay, might be some things not working. Let's go back to our tried and true. Let's go back to running the ball and forcing it down their throats. I don't understand. It's too obvious not to be able to do that. They still get in those situations where at least the optics of it is they don't know what to call. So they run that wide 2x2 formation and throw that wide receiver screen to the left or to the right, which everybody and their mom knows that's coming. And it's easy to defend. So just things like that, opening up the playbook, you got to let it all fly right now, because now everything is on the line. It doesn't matter if you are an inferior team. If you are in the playoffs, all it takes is one bad game and you home. And I don't know if, just like we'll say a quarterback doesn't have playoff experience, it works the same way with the coaches. What are you going to do when you get in that and it's on the line? Are you going to call prime example? You look at what Doug Peterson did down in Jacksonville. That play he called on 4th and 1 in a basically a wishbone set, and he ran outside. I was like, that was a masterpiece.
Brilliant.
And I look at us, and it's like, okay, everybody knows if it's 3rd and short, they stack the box. How come we don't have a toss sweep outside? I don't ever see it. But we'll still try to run out of gun and have Miles Sanders running sideways. And as a running back, it's easier to catch as opposed to going downhill, or as opposed to being 6 yard deep and you can take off and the pitch is going to get to you. That gives you an advantage. And worst case scenario, you're still going to get back to the line of scrimmage. So just different things like that to me, it seems like it's fundamental that maybe you just get too caught up in what's going on, and maybe you have paralysis by analysis. Is that what they call it?
Yes.
And you just freeze up, and it's like you can't do that. Know what works. Every team should have a play 2 or 3 plays that regardless of we're going to run this, they know we're going to run it, but they can't stop it. Every team should have at least 2 or 3 of those plays. And it seems like we outthink ourselves too much.
Marcus, let me ask you this. A 2-part question. The first part of the question is, if you're the Eagles coaches and you're preparing your team to face these junkyard dogs that nobody thought would be here at this point, what are you telling your players every day?
I need you to be good on this play. I used to tell my kids that when I coached down here in South Jersey. I need you to win this play. If you don't win it, same rules apply. Now you go to the next play. I need you to win this play. And eventually you look at the long term. Did you win more than your opponent won? That's what it comes down to. If everybody's not going to win every play, but you got to have that same mentality. And I need you to beat your man on this play because we need you to do it now. And collectively, you get everybody thinking in the same direction. That's why it's so much better that Jalen Hurts is back in the fold and that mindset. He's steering the ship, so everybody feeds off of him. That's what I would tell them. I know you're going to miss on some, but I need you to win. Go into it like you're going to win every play. And if you don't, next play, win that play.
Okay, so if you're the Giants coaching staff, nobody expects you to make the playoffs, let alone be still standing this far into the playoffs. What are you telling these guys we're playing basically with house money right now?
The first 2 games don't matter because we're here. They think they're number 1 seed. They got all of this, and it's a Philly thing, and they're going through all that rigmarole down there in Philly. That doesn't amount to a hill of beans with what we're doing up here in New York. You guys earned your way to get here. Now let's go out there and prove it. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like us. And I will go through every position. And I would say, who are you matched up against? Why are they going to beat you? You tell me why they can beat you. And you go down every position. And you get people thinking, like, why is that guy so much better than me? And there's really no answer. It comes down to who's got the stronger will. Am I going to let him beat me on this play or the next play when it's 3rd and short? Am I going to, do my swim technique and get home and cause a turnover? Just different things like that, winning that battle and imposing your will on your opponent.
Let's go to tight end. Hawkinson took them apart last week. Okay. And they've had trouble all year against tight ends. And I think Dallas Goedert is a phenomenal tight end, who another guy, this little extra time probably bought him, some more health with that shoulder issue. He should be a big part of this. No, I mean, should he have a big game on Saturday night?
I think he'll be huge if we get him the ball. So I think we do have that triple threat. I don't think they match up with everybody. Landon Collins was limited. He's coming off injury. I'm looking at my notes here, and what's the guy? Is it Jackson? Adoree Jackson?
He was on Jefferson last week.
Right.
Yep.
So you got one with a coming off an ankle injury and somebody else coming off a back injury. Let's test that early. Let's see just how healthy you are. They're going to do the same thing with Lane. They're going to send the Funk Lane's way, either Thibodeau or whoever's on the other side, but they're going to test that. So we got to do the same thing. If you got somebody that's limping, or if you got somebody that's not 100%, we got to find them and we got to exploit them the same way all these teams was doing when we trotted out Josiah Scott out there. They knew what to attack. They put them in the slot, and that's exactly where they went, and we couldn't stop it. So to me, that's simple. That is not complicated. It doesn't take a pro-level coach to do that. You just got to look at what you have in front of you, take the information that your players are giving you, and go for it.
Do you like the way the Eagles have dropped C.J. Gardner-Johnson down to the slot at times? Obviously, they feel they have a lot of comfort with a young kid Blankenship in the back end, or would you rather see C.J. staying on the back end for security reasons?
I like him in the slot. I like him where he can be aggressive. I think it's better. Maybe that'll give him a little bit more incentive to go a little bit more man-to-man coverage when we can. I like him in the slot. He can go either way because he's got the experience to do that. I like Blankenship. I wish he was a little bit faster, but he makes up for that. He's a little bit smarter and headier than than most guys his age. So I like him where he is. And the more experience he gets, the better he gets. So I think they got Gardner Johnson in the right spot.
Okay. Is momentum real in this situation? In other words, the Giants are coming off the win, even though they didn't finish great, but they're coming off a win, and the Eagles have been kind of languishing here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Momentum is real. Rust is real. All of that kind of stuff. For me, momentum is when everybody on your team, it's like being in the zone. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing. Nobody's saying nothing. It's nonverbal communication. When your team is on the same page, everything is moving. You see everything around you. You automatically know if you're a guard, if your center needs help. You don't even have to look. You automatically know. You start feeling things, and everybody is working on the same page. You go into film sessions. Everybody on the offensive line is getting pluses. Everybody's getting their blocks. Everybody on the defense is making tackles. It's just a thing that goes, and you get comfortable with it. And it gets better and stronger, and it rolls faster and faster. And that's what happens when you get momentum. Everybody's on the same page on the field. That's dangerous.
All right, Marcus, I want you to be the prognosticator now. How do you see this game playing itself out?
I think the Eagles get it together. I think it's going to be a close game, but we get busy in the fourth quarter and it ends up 31-21 Eagles.
Okay. All right. So the Eagles either get a late touchdown or a late field goal to push it to 10.
Yeah.
Early. I got to ask you early because I'm on this thing. I'll keep beating it to the ground. First play of the game from offense. I am doing a design.
Here we go.
Okay.
Wait. Now go ahead and tell him what you said, and I'm going to tell him what I've said.
Okay.
And see which way he goes.
All right. So I want the design run to tell everybody, hey, man, there's no holds barred. There's no restrictions on this. We're letting him loose, man. That's where I'm at. Gunner's looking deep shot, looking for the kill right out of the haymaker, if you will. What are you doing first play from scrimmage, Eagles offensively?
Play action, go deep.
Wow. There's no
Put you on the spot, my man.
Oh, he's speechless right
That's
now.
right.
Honestly,
First time we've ever had Marcus speechless.
Honestly, you can't do play action without the play. So I would run it first. I would run it first.
Oh man.
I would run it first to see how they're acting, to see what they're looking for, and then go from there. I might not even hit the long shot until maybe third down because I would run it, do a RP. I would either do Miles Sanders or an RPO first. Then, like if I run Sanders first, RPO comes second. Then I take the long shot, regardless of if we get a first down. That next first down, I'm going long. So I would do it like that, but I would test the waters to see what they're thinking because Brian Daboll is no fool.
Nope.
So he should expect something like that. So test the waters, see how they're looking, see how they're playing, and come up with it. The good thing about Derek, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't mind a long shot. That's just what I would do. I would hand the ball off to see how those linebackers and those DBs are coming up, to see if they're prepared to get physical and make tackles.
All right, then, I got to ask you. Oh, sorry, Marcus. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to jump on another game, but finish your point. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, test the waters to see how those DBs are going to act.
Okay.
And then make your decision based off of that. If you see those defensive backs being aggressive, you hit that double move and you go long. AJ or Devontae on the fly.
Like it. I wanted to hit you quickly with the he worked both sides of the fence there, Derek, very well.
Oh, he should be a politician.
That's right. Senator Marcus. Lastly, the Niners and the Cowboys. Just curious what you think in that game. Who comes out of that one?
I think the 49ers will take that one. I just think that what DeMeco Ryans is doing and what Shanahan is doing, they are winning every chess match.
Mm-hmm.
Every player at their skill position is a queen. They can maneuver them all over the board, man. And all Brock Purdy has to do, he's making good throws, but all he's got to do is put the ball in the hands of his playmakers. Brandon Ayuk, CMC, Debo, Kittles, you got a full house, man. Yeah. And all he's got to do is get them to him and let them do what they do. And that's exactly, Shanahan is not making it complicated. He knows what he has, and they are very good, like I said earlier, in finding the weakness in their opponent and going at them. and their defense is aggressive. Them boys, that kid at safety.
Oh yeah,
Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
man,
out of USC. Hofanga.
I call him Palomalu reincarnated.
Yeah, Hofanga. Yeah. He's a beast.
Them boys are laying hats. Them boys are laying hats, and they are super aggressive. And again, they know what they have. They know what they have with Brock Purdy. They can talk about Mr. Irrelevant all they want. All I know is that kid is putting the ball where it needs to be.
That's right.
And he's putting the ball into the hands of who needs to have it. And they're winning games.
Yeah, well said.
Hey,
well
Markus,
said.
one more thing.
Yeah.
Go deep. Just go deep.
You knew he wasn't just going to let that go. You knew
It's
he
all
was
good. It's all good.
No, you got to catch him napping, man. You go deep.
No, you say, guess what, man? I'm Jalen Hurts. Let me put the Superman sign on right now.
I need to see if Jalen is ready to rock and roll right off the bat. Jalen, now that sets the tone though. If Jalen pulls the RPO and goes for 10 or 12, they know right off the bat we got a problem.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So it's etched in their minds. They ran over us for 253 yards.
Exactly.
So I'm faking that handoff, drawing everybody in. Boom. AJ over here, Devontae over here. Somebody's going to be free on the backside. Can you imagine if they scored on that first play? The house will come down.
The place will explode. Yeah,
it would go nuts. But I tell you what, I think your scenario will happen though. I think your scenario will happen. I don't think they're going to, because they haven't shown us that they can run the ball first all year. So why would I expect anything different? So I think your scenario is a little bit more likely right off the bat.
Spoken like a true politician.
There you go.
Hey, Rob, I meant to tell you, man. Rob, you triggered me, dude.
What'd I do?
I was listening earlier when you started talking about European bacon.
Right? They don't cook it, man.
I remember I spent 3 seasons in the World League. I was in Scotland, so I was right up the road.
Yes.
So yes, man, my food over there was next to the hotel was right at the train station in Glasgow.
Right.
And and everything you said was true, man. There was a fish and chip shop. There was a Indian tikka shop.
Yeah.
And there was a Chinese restaurant and also an Italian restaurant. The Chinese food was fire. The Italian food was off the chains.
Yep.
And I would get some traditional fish and chips with the brown sauce in the newspaper.
Yep.
Man, I was set, dude.
Yeah.
I was set. That
brown sauce. What?
Brown sauce.
It's good. It's I don't
it's called HP sauce over here.
Yeah. It's pretty good, man. You like it.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, I told him when I went to London a few years ago to cover the Eagles, we had done a show. Barrett and I did a show during the week, and we found an English restaurant in Philly, they cook authentic food, and they brought in 8 different kinds of foods, and I'm thinking, flavoring these foods, man,
So it is bland. It is definitely bland.
So when I got to London, all I had was, and I got there on a Friday, game was on a Sunday, I had to get on a plane Monday, right? I'm not chancing it. All I had the whole weekend, Chinese food, Italian food, and like you said, both were fire the whole weekend.
Off the top. Funny story. When we got to Scotland, after we got through training camp, everybody brought their girlfriends and wives over. What do you think the girlfriends and wives had?
What?
Seasoned salt, Lawry's.
There you go.
And all of these spices, because you're right, they don't season their food.
Man.
It's true. So, and I was like, their potatoes are great, but get away from the bacon and the sausage, man. It's not cooked. It's all people, and Marcus knows they do not cook. Whatever, that's their thing. Marcus, great stuff. We see Pro Fan Talk, of course, YouTube channel at Pro Fan, and of course at Marcus _ at Coach Marcus at Coach _ Marcus 6.
There you go. Hey, you guys got to catch me tonight on my show 7:00 on A2D Radio.
Nice.
My guest is Myron Guyton. Myron played with the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Myron was one of my teammates at Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
And I think Jesse Small is going to join on. Jesse played here in Philly for 3 seasons. Another one of my teammates for Eastern Kentucky. So EKU is repping. So
you guys had some players, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jesse, Myron, Jason Dunn is from Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah,
Brooks is from Eastern Kentucky. John Jackson that played in Pittsburgh. Aaron Jones played in Pittsburgh. Tim Lester played in Pittsburgh. Elroy Harris played in Seattle. Man, we've got some feet. We got our claws in the NFL, man. Don't sleep on EKU, baby.
I like it. Markus, good stuff, man. Thanks for joining us. We do
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right, man. That is Coach Markus, kind enough to hop on for a couple minutes. All right, Gunner, we're coming back, and it's NFL talk, my man. We are going to dig into the comings and the goings here with some assistant coaches, a lot more goings than comings, but guys getting canned. Interesting story out of the Jets. We'll dig into all of it when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, Barrett off today. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, right now I want to tell you about Razor Technology. Yes, Razor Technology's comprehensive managed service provider solution delivers constant monitoring, on-demand assistance, and rapid issue resolution. Through data-vetted and insight-driven implementation, we strengthen your existing IT resources with human power and expertise that reduces security risks and downtime while enhancing organizational efficiency and productivity. Yes, Razor Technology helps growing organizations adapt. You give them a call, 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.